Hi everyone, I hope you are well. Today, I want to address the elephant in the room and why the work that I do with my clients is so important and why it will lead to such a huge transformational inside-out shift for you in your life. And today, I want to talk to you about how over time broken people break us and how over time these wounds add up. So much so that now we become the ones who are emotionally unavailable. We become the ones who are damaged. You know, it's so hard for us to see how we show up in our relationships, why we choose the relationship partners that we do, how they choose us, and why we choose to stay in dysfunctional relationships. And it is because of our own disempowering relationship patterns and our own internalized subconscious beliefs in how we see ourselves. It becomes the lens in which we see our world. And it's how men see and experience us and how we see and experience them. And as you can see, there's a lot to this. It's all rolled up into this big, complicated puzzle. And this is what I've learned. Your life, the life that you dream of, your dream relationship, everything you have ever wanted is sitting there waiting for you on the other side of your disempowering beliefs, patterns, and behaviors. And I can tell you, once you clear them, it's like you have a new life. And it's beautiful over on the other side. My clients are happy, they're clear-minded, and they are thriving. For now, I would like you to consider a question. And I would like you to be as honest with me as possible. How many Mr. Wrongs have you dated over your lifetime? And how many Mr. Wrongs have you stayed with for far too long? Maybe you're with Mr. Wrong right now. Or maybe you're having a really hard time giving up that relationship because you've grown so attached. And the thought of moving on is just too painful. It's too big. So when you think about that, and you think about the situation you're in, how many red flags are you ignoring? Are you choosing to ignore them because you're hoping that things might get better, that he might finally change, or are you just too afraid to be alone? For me, I was sick and tired of dating. I was exhausted, and yeah, I was tired of being alone. Maybe you have convinced yourself that he is worth it, that he's different, that there are moments of pure bliss, and you think to yourself, how could I not give him or give us another chance? We're so close, and I've invested so much into this person. Yet there are also times where he's verbally abusive, or he's cheating, or hey, you can pick some other red flag, any dysfunctional behavior that we tolerate for too long. And looking back, if you're being completely honest with yourself, you know you are probably staying too long, but it's so hard to leave and take care of yourself. And there might be a tiny piece of you that hopes that you might be the one that tames that tiger. But trust me when I say this, these experiences with broken, emotionally unavailable people, players who use you, narcissists who abuse you, and fixer-uppers who drain you, break you. Over time, they break you, and they damage us in a way that is life-changing. It really does damage us. One by one, slowly over time, they break you, and then one day, you are now the one who is broken, and now you are the one who is in a dysfunctional relationship, and you become emotionally unavailable, you become confused, you become wounded. At first, when you first meet somebody, they check all the boxes. They have a great job. They're tall. They're handsome. They're charming. They're funny. They just make you feel so good. And what happens is, yes, they make you feel good, but they also make you feel so bad. And that's not what love is. That's not the way it's supposed to be. We meet these people and they don't seem able to, or they don't want to invest more time into your relationship. They start to pull back. They don't call, they don't text, They wait until the last minute to make plans with you. They spend all their time playing video games or spending time gambling or whatever have you. And their words and their actions about saying that they love you and that you are the one don't line up. So you get confused and you start to think to yourself, well, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm too demanding. Maybe I'm whatever. And we internalize and we second guess ourselves. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not pretty enough. Maybe I'm not thin enough. Maybe I'm asking for too much. So all of these things, or maybe, just maybe, the person that you're dating or you're married to is broken and emotionally unavailable, and they're making you feel like it's you, like it's your fault. Maybe they're unable to give you the attention you need, or the respect that you need, the thoughtfulness and the kindness that you've always dreamed of from having from this person. But what happens is over time, you see that they can't be there for you to communicate and to work through common everyday relationship problems. Every relationship has problems. They have fights. We have arguments. We have disagreements. We all have that. But are they available for you to fix those problems and figure them out? Or are they just abusive and putting it all on you and making you feel bad? Because maybe it's time for you to know something about human nature. Broken people break people's hearts. I would like you to take a moment and introduce you to the 3 types of guys who, if they don't break your heart, they will most certainly break you. And the first man I want to talk about is the narcissist. Maybe you already know him, maybe you're dating him or you're married to him right now. Very charming when you first meet him, so confident, so self-assured. You think to yourself, finally, a man's man. Sometimes it's nice to just relax and let someone else be in charge. Besides, there's also a certain sense of security being with a man who seems to know everything about everything and so well put together. Well, congratulations. It looks like you might be dating or married to a narcissist. One thing that I've found in working with clients is people pleasers are particularly prone to attracting and getting into relationships with narcissists. If you think about it, actually, they're the perfect fit. People pleasers are selfless and narcissists are selfish. And people pleasers have a strong desire to feel needed, and this perfectly feeds into a narcissist's desire to feel important. Narcissists have a really strong opinion that everyone else just doesn't understand, that everyone else is confused, everyone else is mistaken, or they're just doing it wrong. Well, I have news for you. At some point in your relationship, you become everyone else. And now you become the person who's not very smart, not doing it right. And you're constantly walking on eggshells and constantly feeling like you have to defend yourself. You know, narcissists prey on a people pleaser's desire to be validated. And the people pleaser never, this is the fun part, they never quite get the approval that they're looking for, just like when they were a child in their own dysfunctional family dynamics. Narcissists will continually test you with bad to worse behaviors. And of course, you don't want to leave them because you want to prove that you're different and that you love them. It doesn't work. You're never going to prove to him that you are enough. It doesn't matter. He doesn't see it that way. The narcissist is an extremely dangerous type of broken because a narcissist does not understand how their behavior hurts you. They make it all your fault and they don't take responsibility, so you never win. So if that's something you're up for, I want to tell you, without a lot of help, narcissists will not change their behavior. They may get better for a bit till you get back in. You know, they're nice to you to get you back in. But I'm telling you, this is like a roller coaster ride, and it's going to damage you if it hasn't already. Reason and logic don't work with the narcissist because quite simply, it's not their fault. You think if they finally understood how much their behavior has hurt you, he would change. Well, I've got really bad news for you. He won't. And that's why, in my opinion, if you are dating or married to a narcissist right now, as hard as this is for you to hear, you need to leave. Yeah, you need to leave. The second type of man who, if you're not really careful with, will either break you or break your heart, of course, is the player. The player loves the thrill of the hunt. He loves the chase and the pursuit of women. He loves the challenge. For him, it's a conquest. It's a game. And as well, as you know by now, for the player, the ultimate goal is to have sex with as many women as possible. And yes, they may find the one for a time, but then that need to go out and fulfill that desire comes back. And because all relationships, they go through this attraction, lust, and an attachment phase where when you're in the attachment, things aren't as exciting anymore. And you're not in the honeymoon phase anymore. And it's kind of like, well, it is what it is. It's comfortable. So I have to remind my clients that the reason players are so dangerous is that they are charming and they're often the life of the party, which for some is very attractive. And that's because players have a lot of practice approaching and engaging with women. They also are quite intuitive and know exactly what you want to hear. So if you have a man who approaches you in a bar or club when you're out with your girlfriends, chances are he's probably a player. Approaching a group of women for most men is intimidating, but it's not for a player. He's had years to perfect his skills and hone his craft. He is smart, he's charismatic, and he loves to, they call it peacocking, in front of you and a crowd and show off. So this is what he's good at. You have to remember, you're not the first person he's approached. You may think that because that's what he's going to tell you. He's not going to say that this is what he does all the time, but think about it. How hard do you think it is to, in a social setting, just walk up to a group of people that you don't know and just start chatting and being so charismatic and so charming? Well, that comes from practice. So falling prey to his womanizing ways is easy because there's this intense chemistry that comes along with it. And it's very intoxicating. It flushes your system with dopamine, and it's very hard to resist. The third guy that will either break you or break your heart is the emotionally unavailable man. You probably have dated one or two of these. He's the hardest to discern because broken people do not walk around with signs around their neck saying, "Hello, I'm broken. And I'm sorry, I'm unable to be with you at a deep, intimate level, and that as soon as I start to feel like we're moving towards something that could be real, I freak out. I have to get out of here, and I have to get away from you. So I will project all of my pain onto you. I'll start to distance myself from you, and if we start getting too close, I will ghost you." So this is it's just another dysfunctional behavior, and we have to understand that when somebody's running away from us, that's a red flag. Broken, emotionally unavailable people are master chameleons when you first meet them. They're able to show up for you exactly the way that you need and want them to be. They pick up on cues from you. And, they look normal on the outside. In fact, a lot of broken people look really good on the outside. They have a beautiful smile. They have perfect teeth. They're impeccably dressed. They drive a nice car. They're confident. And they look like they're together. Everything you've ever wanted and everything you've ever hoped for. But inside, where you can't see, they're broken. Because they wear this mask that everything is okay. I'm happy, I'm successful, I'm together, I'm the best thing that ever could happen to you. Besides, did you see the way he smiles at you? And you become so wrapped up in the beauty of the external that you start to lower your standards, and more often than not, you cast aside your own needs because you don't want to lose them. You don't want to go back to dating. You don't want to be going back to being alone. So we lower our standards. The reality is what you don't see, what they hide behind their mask, is that they haven't healed from their last relationship, and maybe from the one before that, or the one before that, and maybe all the way back to their childhood. So inside, they're hurt, their heart is broken, and they're looking for a way to bury their pain in the comfort of other people, in the comfort of you. Just like you, they need closeness, they need companionship, and they want to be held. They don't want to be alone. They need all the same things you do. So they do what they need to do, and they say what they need to do to get you to be in relationship with them. But they're not able to be close to you without being triggered into a room full of anxiety and pain. And that's the difference between you and them. Broken people draw you in with their charming ways, all the while keeping you at arm's length. And see, that to you feels comfortable because you've become broken, so you don't want to get too close either. So you have two broken people who have this dance, and they're not vulnerable, and they're not getting too close, and they're thinking, oh, this is safe. This is comfortable and this is safe. But I'm telling you, this is the road to ruin. You have two broken people who are doing this dance, and one day you're going to fall in love, and he's over here, and you're chasing. And you can't chase somebody to love you. It doesn't work that way. You know that. So I want you to know something about the emotionally unavailable man, because a lot of time when I'm working with clients, they go, well, Kevin, I get all these mixed signals. Well, that's what it is there's a desire on his part to be close to you, but he's not able to be intimate and vulnerable with you. And I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about intimate as far as feelings and sharing and communicating with you. So it's not that he doesn't love you or care about you. It's just that he is missing something inside. He's hurt. And every time he sleeps with you, he has sex with you, it numbs his pain and it takes the loneliness away. You see, you and him are together for different reasons. You are with him because you've fallen in love with his mask. And he is with you because he's trying to fill that emptiness that's inside of him before you find out. Before you find out that he's not capable of being with you in a deep, intimate, loving, committed way. Think about it this way. Who in their right mind would say to you, hey, I'm only with you because I've had a lifetime of pain, and truth be told, I don't want to be alone, and I'm hoping that I can find comfort in your arms. I just want comfort. No one's going to tell you that. They're going to say, yes, I want a relationship, and yes, I've been looking for this and looking for that. And what happens is you hear all the things you've been wanting to hear from a guy, and you go, I'm all in. We become attached, and we overextend ourselves too soon because we don't really know this person. We're taking them at face value because they're charming, and we're hearing the words, and we're going, okay, this is the one. Well, it's not the one. They haven't earned the right to be the one. And here's where your brokenness comes into play. When you find out that somebody is emotionally unavailable or a player or a narcissist, that you're being played, you start to make excuses or you rationalize why you're still with them. I want you to think about that. You rationalize why you won't leave. And you start to think, we can get through this. There's no we, there's you. You say, if he would just give us a chance, give me a chance. But again, there's no we. You're in this alone. He's emotionally unavailable. Do you realize that you're doing all the work and that you're doing the heavy lifting? And then you think to yourself, well, I've invested so much time into this marriage or this relationship, and I don't want to start all over again. or I should give him another chance. He needs me. Well, what about what you need? That's part of the problem, is you're not thinking about what you need. He needs you. Well, that's nice, but you need someone too. Relationships are supposed to be equal, like this, not one-sided. You cannot do all the work. I'm telling you right now. And then you think to yourself, well, I just can't walk away and hurt someone. Yeah, I know you don't want to hurt somebody, but he doesn't have a problem hurting you. You've told him enough times, and he still keeps doing what he's doing. So think about that. And of course, you get into this dynamic where you keep attracting the same kind of man over and over again. And that's how I know where the work needs to be done. That's where I know you need to do the work. You need to do the work to break that dynamic, to get out of that, because that's not good for you. That just breaks you and breaks you more. Because I'm telling you, you can invest 5 more years into this relationship, and what's going to happen is you're going to be more broken in 5 years, more devastated. You might even go into depression. Because there's a universal truth about people. We don't experience things as they are. We experience things as we are. We experience things as we are. So I want to ask you another question. Go ahead, take out a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to take a moment to think about your answer. In what ways have you convinced yourself to stay in a dysfunctional relationship so you won't have to be alone? You won't have to start all over. In what ways have you convinced yourself? It's an important exercise for you to do. You need clarity on why you're choosing to stay and the ways that it's harming you. Because I'll tell you something, in your gut, you know the answer. You just don't want to listen. And that's where you probably need help. That person who's so wonderful in so many different ways, who can't give you what you really want, which is an amazing relationship, who's incapable of having a loving, deep, committed relationship with you, doesn't see that they need to heal their brokenness. It's not, I wish I could wave a magic wand and fix everybody and heal everybody. The fact of the matter is if you're with somebody who's not treating you right, they have to make amends to you and they have to go get help. If they're just putting you off and, hey baby, I love you, don't leave me, I'm sorry, it's not enough. They have to go get help. And if they're not getting help, you are chasing a fantasy of how things are when they're good. And I get it. But when they're bad, they're bad. And they're only going to get worse. They do not get better unless somebody goes and gets the help that they need. And if they're not getting help, you need to get the hell out of there. And I get it. You're a loving, kind person. You don't want to leave somebody just hanging there. You don't want to break their heart. You want to help heal them. You genuinely want to help. I get it. And it comes from the best of intentions. So you convince yourself that if they would just trust you, if they would just open up and share their feelings with you, that your love can help them heal their pain. That if they could just know that you're different from all the other women that he's been with, that you're special, that you would never hurt him. But you see, that's not how it works. The truth is your love cannot heal a wound in another person because their wounds are at a deep subconscious level just like yours. This is not surface level stuff. This is not something that you can just have a nice little chat with someone for a couple hours and it goes away. This is not something you can watch another YouTube video and it just goes away. This is not some workbook you can do or some video you can watch on YouTube. And on top of all of that, he's not even doing that. He's probably not doing anything. He's probably putting it all on you anyways. So think about it. You hurt and you diminish yourself every single time you put up with their not being available for you or their disrespect. And you may convince yourself, well, he's just in so much pain and he's been hurt so much and that's why he pulls away and that's why he's abusive or that's why he's emotionally unavailable and he needs you. Besides, you tell yourself, when they're good, they're good. No one's ever made me feel so alive. I've heard that from clients. Never felt so alive. Well, yeah, all that drama, who wouldn't feel alive? But why do you need all that chaos? Where does that come from? Because when I work with my clients and I find where that chaos is coming from, it all makes sense. So what do? You rationalize to your friends and your family, you don't know him the way that I do. You haven't seen that part of him. Well, think about it. If your friends and family are warning you about somebody and telling you to get out of there, they love you. They want the best for you. You should listen. Oh, you know, what's the old saying? Birds of a feather flock together. Broke people look for other broken people. They don't look for healthy because healthy won't put up with that crap. Healthy people walk away from chaos. They walk away from dysfunction. Think about that. But you don't. And neither did I. It was the most crushing breakup of my life. When Jackie left me, I crumbled. I was devastated. I thought she was the one. In reality, I had overinvested into her based on her telling me what I desperately wanted to hear, which was somebody telling me, I love you, and you are the one for me. You are the most amazing man I've ever been with. And she told me, you are the one. Kevin, you are the one for me. The one I've always been looking for. I had finally found someone who loved me for who I was, or so I thought. I was so madly in love with who I thought was my dream girl, because she ticked off all my boxes. Yeah. And after years and years of yearning and wanting, I was in a relationship that I could see going the distance because she said all the right things. And finally, I found someone who, just had everything that I was looking for. So what did I do? I ignored the red flags. I ignored the fact that she wasn't emotionally available. I ignored the fact that she was in pain and the way that she handled our relationship. She wasn't available, but I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it. And the truth is because I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to go back to dating anymore. It was like I found a person and I was going to latch onto them and it was going to work. The biggest red flag that I ignored looking back was, you won't even believe this. If I tell you this story, you won't believe this. I mean, I can't even believe it looking back, but that's how attached I was and how broken I was and how needy I was, how afraid I was to be by myself, to lose the girl of my dreams, quote unquote, which now I'm with the girl of my dreams. Now I'm married to the girl of my dreams. But back then I'd convinced myself that was the girl of my dreams. So I'll tell you the story. A client of mine invited me to his wedding. I was flattered that he would include me on his special day. And of course, I accepted. And later on, so go to the reception with my girlfriend, and I'm sitting at the same table as most of the singles. So it's me and my girlfriend, and of course, most of the singles are men, and they look hungry. You know what I mean, right? And most of them seem to respect the fact that I was there with my girl, except one guy. And later on in the evening, he asked her to dance, and they stayed up dancing for 6 songs. I almost lost my mind. I vividly remember, after the second song, counting each song and wondering when she would come back and when she would sit down with me. One song quickly became 2 songs. Okay, she's dancing, she's having fun, not a big deal. Then the third song came on, and she's still dancing with him. This is weird, and I'm starting to feel like, am I supposed to feel something here? Is this normal? What the heck? And then the fourth song comes on. She's still dancing with him. Okay, now I'm getting upset, and I don't want to be upset. And I don't want to, like I'm at a wedding, and I'm really unsure of what to do. Then the fifth song starts to play, and they're still dancing, and I'm thinking, what the heck? I'm about to lose it, but I can't. I can remember in that moment feeling so hurt, so confused, and thinking, what the hell is going on? Like, what did I do? And I can feel anger coming up inside of me because I'm feeling a little bit jealous too, and a little bit possessive. And who does this to somebody? So I decide I have to go for a walk. I have to get out of there because I'm feeling so upset and so alone. And of course, while I'm outside, the sixth song starts to play and they're still dancing. You think that would be enough. But I was afraid to leave because if I left, she might go home with him. Yeah, exactly. So where's my head? Man, I tell you. So I stayed and I endured the additional humiliation of her telling me that I was making a big deal out of nothing and that he was just a really nice, lonely guy with no one to talk to. 6 songs. I was hurt, confused, upset. And hey, here you go. Several days later, I convinced myself that everyone does stupid things and that I could forgive and forget and that I had made a big deal out of nothing. But in reality, when I look back, she left anyways. It was like I chose to ignore the red flags because I didn't want to be alone and I didn't want to give up the dream of my dream girl. 3 months later, she left. It was 2008. The real estate market was tanking. I'm a real estate agent, and no one was selling anything. The phone was not ringing. And as a real estate agent, if you don't sell a home, you're not making any money. So I wasn't spending money that I used to spend on her. And she's used to me spoiling her. She's used to me spending all this money, all these fun adventures, these fun weekends we used to go on. So all of the reasons that she gave for leaving, nobody's going to say, hey, I'm with you because you spend so much money on me and I'm having a great time. So all the reasons she gave me, none of them made any sense. I was devastated. I felt blindsided because quite frankly, I was living the fantasy. I was not present. I wasn't really seeing what happened at the wedding as a big wake-up call for how she really felt about me and how she felt about the relationship. And I think she was just looking for a way out. Maybe she was looking that night for me to break up with her. She just didn't have, the strength to do it. I don't know. Because, you think about it, that's pretty bad. So, I'd become the plan B guy. And in reality, she had left me a long time ago. And I had fallen into that trap where I wanted to believe the words and I ignored the actions and the behaviors. It took a lot of healing and self-growth to realize my part in the dance. And this is the lesson. Are we willing to look at our part? How we don't show up for ourselves? How our boundaries are weak? How we don't insist that we are treated with respect and that sometimes you have to walk away and you have to say, I cannot fix this person. I cannot fix this relationship. I want to, but I want to be with somebody, and this is the important part. I want to be with somebody who works with me. That's it. I want somebody. They're flawed. Yes, my wife is flawed. She's not a perfect person. I'm not a perfect person. But we work together. We work through things. We don't purposely hurt each other. We're not verbally abusive towards each other. It's a big difference. I had completely lost myself. And in doing so, she had lost her respect for me. And when somebody doesn't respect you, they walk all over you. And so what happens is I lose the girl, but after our breakup, after she leaves, I go into this deep depression. I can't even describe it to you. I doubt if you would believe me if I told you how bad it is. I do remember walking into the doctor's office one day and looking up at him and basically begging him to make the pain go away. I just broke down crying. I was in front of the doctor. He's got his clipboard and he's in his doctor's suit and everything. And the look on his face was so much like, get it over with. And he starts writing this prescription for these antidepressants, which is another thing. But I was lost. I was broken. I was untrusting. I was lonely. I was full of anxiety, and I didn't know what to do. I was a mess. So I tried everything. And when I say I tried everything, I tried everything. Weekly support groups, I went to everything. Spiritual retreats, weekends, journaling. I went on YouTube and watched video after video after video. I did workbooks. I read so much. I did meditation, yes, and therapy and counseling from professionals who supposedly knew what they were doing, trying to find answers and trying to find a cure. The pain was unbearable. Day to day was brutal. And I'm sure if you're going through a breakup right now or a divorce, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It breaks you. It just breaks you, and you feel empty inside. Life just feels like this deep, dark hole, and you can't see any light. And you're just in so much pain. That pain becomes physical. You get this knot at the pit of your stomach. From the time that I woke up in the morning until the moment I went to bed, I felt unbearably uncomfortable in my own skin. That's how bad it was. So, what did I learn about myself? Broke people attract other broken people. I just didn't know it. I didn't know how I was showing up. Because what happens is healthy people don't stay with broken people. Healthy people don't stay with broken people. So if you're staying with someone who's broken, there's a good chance that you're broken too. And I know that's hard to hear. And it's easy to look out there and say, that's what's going on. But it wasn't until I looked within myself for the answers and got the tough questions, the really tough questions about how I was showing up, my disempowering beliefs about myself, my disempowering patterns, my disempowering behaviors. I was convinced that she was capable of being what I wanted. Because in the beginning, she was all about me. She was so attentive and she said all the right things, and I love you and you're the most amazing man I've ever been with. So I stayed thinking that I was doing something wrong and that when things were good, they were really good. And I ended up wasting more of my time with the wrong person instead of trying to figure out why I would want to stay with a woman who took me for granted. And I need you to think about something else. If you've ever made the same mistake as I have and stayed with someone for too long, yes, maybe in your mind having someone is better than nothing, or you might be making the very common mistake of thinking that things will get better. But trust me, in all of my years of helping people, helping my clients, things don't get better. They usually get worse. Yeah, they usually get worse. And when you finally get out of the relationship, you will carry a deep shame with you around why you stayed so long. As angry as you will be at your ex, you will also be secretly angrier at yourself. Because every minute you're with Mr. Wrong is one less minute you're available to find Mr. Right. It's the ugly reality of trying over and over again and putting ourselves out there and investing in the wrong people, when that's where we get broken too. And that, my friend, is the ugly truth. Reinforcing once again what I've said before, which is that we don't experience things as they are, we experience things as we are. I learned the hard way. This is not surface level stuff. We have to go to the subconscious mind. This is where all the pain and the old wounds are. This is where the triggers are. This is where the dysfunctional patterns are. You can't read another book or watch another YouTube video to heal this. That's not how it works. These behaviors and patterns and these beliefs about ourselves come deep from within our subconscious mind. And if you find yourself attracting or attracted to the bad boys, the narcissists, the players, the jerks, the emotionally unavailable men, the fixer-uppers, then I want you to know that I'm here to help you let go of those disempowering beliefs, these patterns that you have and these behaviors, so you can finally attract, engage, and keep the most amazing man of your dreams. Because the reality is, you do deserve an amazing life with an amazing man. That's what I did. I healed my life, and now I'm with an amazing woman. My wife would do anything for me. Anything. She loves me, warts and all. And she's awesome. She's everything I ever wanted. And truth be told, I'm glad those other relationships didn't work out, because I would have never found her, and I would have never been available to find her. For anyone that's ever been through a divorce or breakup, because I've been through both, you know how painful and how expensive being with the wrong person can be. Divorces are not divorces are not only financially draining, they can cost you thousands of dollars. They break you in a way that I've never been broken before. And I only wish there was a high quality, affordable program like the one that I have. I wish it was available for me when I went through my difficult time. It would have saved me a lot of emotional, spiritual, and financial pain. Knowing what I know now about how devastating and painful breakups and divorces are, I wanted to put together a program that gives you insight into who you are really being. Not this surface level stuff. I'm talking about who you really are at a deep subconscious level. How you are showing up. You know, that person who needs help getting what it is that you say that you want? Because I can tell you from working with others, we get in our own way of getting what we say we want. And no need to tell you, it's messy in there, really messy. And I want to help you find that powerful, loving, amazing person that's inside of you. It's like a ball of yarn, and you take out each strand. And at first, it's very daunting. It's overwhelming. It's like, oh my God, Kevin, how are we ever going to get to this? But I can tell you from working with so many clients, and the success that we've had is that there's a foundation to it. And when you get to the beliefs that are underneath everything, then you can take apart that big ball so much easier and so much faster. It's amazing. It's very transformational. I also want you to know that I can help you find that person. That's what I do. And I've been blessed with this gift. It's like wiping the slate clean and starting all over again. You're going to feel emotionally lighter. You're going to feel so much more powerful in your life. You're going to feel like a huge burden has been lifted off of your shoulders. There's going to be no more pain, no more suffering. And the first call is free. Like the introduction call, there's no obligation. It's not a sales call. I want to help you. It's a supportive call. So if you call in, we'll talk about you. We'll have a deep, one-on-one, powerful conversation about you, about your life, and what's going on, because every person's unique. You know, I'm excited because I'm making these videos. I've decided to take my business online, and I have all these videos in my head and I can only do so many so fast. And I want you to know that I can change your life. I can help you see these patterns. I can help you heal these patterns. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link for the call in the description somewhere. And it might well be the most important call of your life. Because these tools, this recovery, this transformation for you from the inside out is life-changing and is life-lasting, and you'll never be the same again. And you can wake up to a new you, the most powerful, loving version of yourself, and you can get to that happy place. Let me help you put the pieces of your life back together again. Make that call. Let's chat, okay?